just to start off,
Yes.
what were your main goals, when creating Endless Space 2 as a sequel from the first game?
So there's one thing is first, when we created Amplitude, we're big fans of 4Xs, and our first game we wanted to do was real 4X strategy games, in the path of what Master Orion has been a long time ago. We wanted to make a new one with amazing battles, cinematic battles. So that's going back to the roots of 4Xs, then we went on Legend, and with Legend we discovered a lot of elements with the 4X game, especially like asymmetric gameplay. To be able to play a faction in a very different way as any other faction could play in the game. So there's been a lot of maturation in the way we did 4Xs, and once we finished Legend, we dreamed to revisit Endless Space, with everything we learned, like this virtual gameplay in Endless Space 2, basically. But there was one thing that I always wanted to do, as a game creator, or to play as a player, was to see in the 4X the population being at the center of the gameplay. In many 4Xs, when you play, populations tend to be numbers. It's just numbers, it multiplies all the numbers and gives you a production and a science, and that's more or less what it is. The way we want to do it with Endless Space 2 is to have this population would have feelings. They would love some things, they would hate some other things, and as the emperor of these populations, you would have to decide sometimes whether you want to give them what they want or make them do what you want. And this whole balance, of gameplay is one of the main things we wanted to do with Endless Space 2.
So basically, if you try to force on them your decisions all the time, what will happen? They will uprise.
As you could expect, they would be unhappy. They would uprise. But maybe sometimes, it's better to force them to do what you want because it is the right thing to do, and to kill off a few worlds, that uprise and because that what you do is the best. Sometimes it's better maybe to follow them, because what they want actually could fit your empire, on the long run. So it's a matter of deciding when to do what, basically. Sometimes also you could also make them believe that what they want, is that, and actually this is what you want. So there you have a whole psychological gameplay that starts between your people and yourself.
That sounds very nice. In terms of a direct comparison to the previous game, what would you say are the main improvements that you are bringing? If you will say 2 or 3 of them?
Compared to Endless Space 1, factions will be a lot more different. So that's what I said about the asymmetric factions. So it was one of the main things, from Endless Legend we really wanted to improve. So that's a big improvement, meaning that you will never play the game twice when you change a faction. A lot of possibilities. One other thing is something I really wanted to push forward in this game is the exploration. When if you imagine ourselves tomorrow conquering space, what really sounds fascinating is these new worlds where we discover all these new wonders. And that's we want the player to be, feeling that, to feel these wonderful things, he discovers all the time, and that's a lot of the things that we will bring forward in Endless Space 2. So with amazing new planets, never twice, the same things you will discover, like great combinations, something you believe in, something that's beautiful to look at, something that makes you dream, every time, when you move forward. Something else that goes a bit in that sense of wonder is the idea of always being brought in to be brought in that universe through quests, through events. A lot of things happening. It's a very rich universe that we want you to be part of. And that's also one of the major improvements we bring to the game. So, and there will be a lot actually to help on that side. And then there are the battles. That players want to have more controls on, and at the same time for us, battles is something that we want players to live, to be inside, to really believe that. So we will add a lot of improvements on how the battles is decided before it starts. But then again, we want you to be the witness of all your decisions, and it's going to be beautiful actually as well. So it's a lot of improvement on the visual side.
So, are you using your own engine, improved for the game?
So the game will be on Unity.
On Unity 5, I mean.
Unity 5. We are improving a lot on the graphic engine of Unity. So a lot of stuff will be our own because we're pushing a lot the visuals of the game, especially in the battles. To have a lot of particles, to have beautiful renderings. It's stuff that are in-house.
Speaking of technical, the technical side, are you going to use DirectX 12 in some ways?
So far, we don't have any specific plans on that, but I have to admit that we didn't push forward too much in that direction yet. But we are open on the topic. If it can benefit the game, we'll look into it.
Okay. So some questions from the community. They were asking, will faction-based quests or storylines be returning?
Yes. So it's something we did a lot in Legend that we loved. And it's also, for some players, it's a great way to discover your faction and the unicity of your faction. It's also a great way to play the game differently, because through the quest and the main quest, not only you learn about your faction, but you can also unlock some powerful things, by doing some different gameplay. It's not just building stuff and doing science. It's you have to fight against some other powers. Here we have politics, so you will have to discover also how your people work and what are their beliefs, and to fight sometimes against that, to be able to achieve something that will unlock some social powers. So yes, there will be a lot of that, and that will allow you, if you want, to play eight times the game and have more or less 8 campaigns if you want to see it that way. But it's always random campaigns, so you can't really talk about campaigns.
Okay, so in terms of the the late game. Are you going to make any specific improvements to that part of the game to make it more engaging?
So it's very funny because last week we were actually working a lot on that. So it's one of the elements that we noticed early on. It's not just the end game, but many 4Xs are a lot of fun at the beginning, and then what you see is just a repetition of the beginning of the game. Yeah. So then it's boring. What we are doing is we're making sure that we have new gameplay elements, fun elements that are different, new gameplay style, all throughout the game. So you don't have just the whole fun at the beginning and then it's the same again. No, you always can expect 30 turns, 10 turns, just something new. And by having it new, you will be able maybe to take advantage of that, and thanks to that you can win. So it's very interesting, and yes, it's a big challenge. But as long as you can, come up with these kind of things, it should be a lot of fun.
Okay, in terms of building larger fleets, has it been streamlined in some way, or?
So one of the problems with the Space One. Thank you very much. Cheers. One of the reproach that we had on the Space One was, at the end game, even mid game, whether it was the AI or the players, tend to have lots of fleets. And it was very tedious to develop. So of course we're improving a lot on that. We'll be closer to what we see in Legend, where we want the players to feel close to their fleets. So to create a bond between the ships and the players. So every ship counts, and when every ship counts,
you can't have too many.
You don't have too many. So so it will be a few fleets representing the player, and the whole gameplay evolves around that.
Okay, I see. In terms of espionage, what kind of opportunities are there for players?
So when we shipped Endless Space, we didn't do Espionage because we decided that the day we would do it, right and take the time to do it. So when we shipped Endless Legend, we didn't do it either. We waited to have an add-on on that where we worked just on the Espionage. It was the main focus of the game. Thanks to that, we learned a lot where we put the heroes at the center of the gameplay, of the Espionage gameplay. With a lot of specific actions that you have a whole gameplay about hide and seek, units that can disappear, that you can reveal. So it's a lot of fun. It's very unique, and you can have factions evolving around that. So I don't know yet if we'll have it in Endless Space 2 at release, but we know that we like the direction that we did with Endless Legend on Espionage, and if we were to do it on Endless Space 2, we would do it in the same direction that's been created there.
I think it might be somewhat related, but what about diplomacy? Are you doing anything to improve this?
So it's we are not revealing everything today because it's still early
Okay.
on. But diplomacy, it's something we are refining from game to game, and it's key in 4Xs. So yes, it will be at the center of everything.
Okay. In terms of multiplayer,
Yes.
how many players can be together in the same game?
Eight players. We do that in all our games, and I don't think we'll change there. So eight.
Are you doing something different for Endless Space 2 in terms of multiplayer?
It's stuff I can't talk about today. I'd love to, but I can't. Just all I can say is that's from our previous games that sort of multiplayer is important to us because we are multiplayer players, so we love it, and we make it so it's fast to play. It's fun. You don't never have to wait for someone else to play, or at minimum. So no, it's you can expect a lot coming up. Cool features.
Okay, let's go into the final questions. Have there been improvements to the AI logic for the game?
So we're definitely revisiting the whole AI process. For us, AI is key. It's a strategy game, so strategy. Obviously, you want to have a smart AI in front of you. So we have a pretty big team actually dedicated just to the AI, and we are. Strangely enough, we had pretty smart AI on the previous games, but it was so complex that it was really hard to tune, basically, and hard for the designers, for the players to tune it. So we're definitely spending a lot of time on the AI to refine what we did before and to make it easier for the designers and the players to tune. And we are also working a lot on the long-term AI. So the AI has more visibility on the long-term strategy.
So the AI has long-term goals of their own.
Yeah, that's it. And so they can try to adapt to that.
Okay, that sounds nice. So will there be also new factions in Endless Space 2? Or
yes, I can't talk about that today, but yes.
Okay. So the ability to create custom factions, it was deemed very important by the community in the first game. So will it be back?
I can't tell you exactly the details yet, but yes, there will be a lot of fun. For us, it's key. It's part of your imagination that you want to create your own faction. So we want to make sure that everyone can create the faction they want to play. And also, with Endless Legend, we're adding a lot of modding tools today. That allow you to create, any kind of imaginary faction in the game, and we hope players will be able to do that, even on the visuals and stuff.
So the modding tools will they release along the game or maybe a bit later?
I don't know yet if it will be at release, but we're taking a lot of experience. We have a lot of experience now with Endless Legend and Endless Space. So I don't know if it will be at release, but it will be part of the whole process.
Okay. So talking about release, of course, you can't give me a hard date, but I mean, will it be next year? Within next year?
Basically all we can say today is definitely it's next year, and early access. For us is very important. Early access, and will be probably early to mid next year. Early access.
Okay, and do you have an expansion / DLC plan for this, or is it too early?
Today it's too early. It's normally what happens. We are very ambitious with our games, but sometimes there's stuff we can't fit in the game at release. Because it's too complex and you're afraid it's not polished enough. The great thing with an expansion, it allows you to do some crazy stuff you wanted to do during the game and you were never able to do. So probably there will be such ideas, that would be unrealistic, to add in the game for release, but it's stuff we can explore later. And what is important with an expansion is when you release the game, to see what the players miss, what they would have loved to see in the game. So it's better to see what they want rather than to plan today, for expansion plan, and you give them stuff they don't want. So that's why it's stuff basically from the release. We'll see, how the player reacts. But with MS Legend, we did 2 expansions already, and people love them. We have great reviews on them. So there also we're taking a lot of experience on how to design an expansion and make it so it pleases the player and increases the whole value for the game.
Okay, so one last question. There have been increasing strategy games released on consoles. So what I wanted to ask you is if you have considered as a studio to release games on consoles as well.
So we are releasing Dungeon of the Endless on Xbox, and on it's just been released on iPad. So
I meant more of the strategy.
For X,
full strategy.
Well, there are strategy games, Dungeon. For us, they are at least. For X, it's difficult. If we were to do it, we would have to design it from ground up for consoles. We could not port this game to fit a pad gameplay. So today, no plans for 4Xs, but I love the idea to play 4X on my couch in my living room. So just need to change a bit the interaction between the player and the game. And there are quite a few opportunities, I believe, in that sense. But again, it needs to be designed for the purpose.
So of course there won't be controller support on PC. No. Okay.
No. Well, we're definitely looking into. I've been fiddling a bit, with the Steam controller, which is very interesting actually. So that's maybe in that sense, there could be some cool stuff to do with a special pad, basically like the Steam controller, to adapt the existing 4Xs that we have to be played. But it's PC game, in the living room.
Of course.
So, and for me at home, I have like the Steam Link installed, with the Steam pad, and it's surprisingly good actually for that. So you need to tweak a bit the controls. I would love to do like a little patch to adapt a few things in the game to fit it exactly to the Steam controller, but it's surprisingly good as out of the box actually. So. I think for strategy games, there's a great opportunity there with the Steam Link and Steam controller.
Okay, so thank you very much, and we look forward to see the game next year.
Yeah, I hope you will like it.